Banyak mana pengaruh Perkasa dalam pemuda?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm not going to lie. Memang ada pengaruh Perkasa sedikit sebanyak dalam, bukan saja dalam pemuda tapi dalam UMNO. Sebab kalau kita melihat keahlian Perkasa ni, I don't know the exaggerated membership, ramai datang daripada kalangan ahli UMNO.
Yeah.
But to me that's good, because to me my empirical brain says that these guys are not really adding any support to you, which is why I, you know, take a very strong stand against them, because mathematically, kalau kebanyakan daripada ahli Perkasa ni adalah ahli UMNO, net what support do you really gain from Perkasa? Not much. And people who support Perkasa will tend not to support the opposition anyway,
Yeah.
because they take very, you know, strong right-wing Malay stand. So if they're going to vote, they're going to vote for UMNO anyway. So net the political impact of Perkasa and UMNO is very minimal in terms of the additional Malay voters.
Yeah.
But net the impact of non-Malay voters to UMNO and BN because of Perkasa is absolutely significant. So my proposition, apart from an ideological disagreement with what they do, is also an empirical, or is also a political calculation that at the end of the day, on a net basis, they hemorrhage more votes than add votes to us. So bagi saya, yes, there is some influence of Perkasa in UMNO, but to me it's good, because it just shows that they're cannibalizing our members. They're going after the same supporters anyway. So if you tell me that, oh, we have to support them because, you know, they want bawa Undi Melayu, I ask them, what Undi Melayu are you talking about? You're talking about the same people who support us, you know. And even if we shift to the center a little bit with One Malaysia and all these things, at the end of the day, these people are going to support UMNO, unless of course Perkasa decides to set up a political party, which then it might be a bit a different scenario. But I hope that it won't come to that, and when it comes to that, then UMNO members will have to decide between UMNO and Perkasa. That's what I said the other day. It wasn't so dramatic as saying, you know, choose me, but I'm saying you have to choose at the end of the day, because yes, they're not a political party, but they are quasi-political at the moment. So you must choose. Either you're UMNO or you're Perkasa, you know.
But since you said that, you earlier said that there is no way that UMNO is working together with Perkasa as in the top leadership. But at the same time now you're saying Perkasa could hemorrhage the non-Malay votes. So why isn't UMNO taking a stronger stand against Perkasa?
Good question. I don't know. I wouldn't know. You know, I think it should, but I think because Perkasa draws on that, you know, that base, much like in the Republican Party, you know, the religious right is a very strong base for any aspiring Republican nominee for the presidency. They have managed to find their way into that base, and there are great political risks attached with touching that group of people. You need somebody who is either extremely foolish or somebody who's extremely well, probably foolish to go after them in UMNO, or somebody very sure of his position. I'm not particularly sure of my position, so I must be foolish. So, you know, it takes a certain kind of person with a death wish to go after this group. But I think it's important, because I think we need to show that we're different from them. I know what the Prime Minister thinks of these people, but it's up to him to let people know.
But I mean, in your opinion, without a strong stand or action against Perkasa, will Perkasa, at the end of the day, I mean, now it's slowly starting, Perkasa is cannibalizing some UMNO members. Do you think at the end of the day, Perkasa will eventually sort of like make UMNO completely irrelevant?
No, I don't think so, because we appeal to a bigger group of Malays. You know, UMNO, I've always said that UMNO is a big tent. We appeal to those for whom Perkasa's message resonates very strongly, We appeal to progressive people. We even appeal to some liberal Malays who feel that UMNO's struggle is still relevant today. So UMNO will always be bigger than Perkasa. We have a membership of 3 million plus. Perkasa claims to have a membership of 300,000, and many of them are also UMNO members. So there's no comparison. The sort of irrelevance comes in terms of this right-wing sort of messaging, this right-wing, championing right-wing issues. But for me, that's not a case of irrelevance. That's a case of evolution. We cannot be doing that anymore. We have to understand that Malaysian politics has become much, much more multi-ethnic in its texture, in its substance. So we must move away from that. Otherwise, Prime Minister would not have strategically introduced One Malaysia, appealed to the centre, appealed to a greater group of people within the centre of Malaysian politics and society. So I don't think there's a question of irrelevance. I think there's a question of a niche that we don't want to be in anymore, that they might want to fill. But I think it's important for us in UMNO to make sure that niche is as small as possible and not growing. Right-wing niches tend to grow seasonally. They grow and they contract. They grow and they contract. Even in Europe, right-wing parties who are anti-xenophobic, anti-immigration and things like that, sometimes they grow in bad economic times. They get an electoral bump. Sometimes they contract, when things are better, when the centre holds. So it's important for us to strengthen the centre, make sure the centre holds, so that these niches, whether they're on the left or the right, whether it's Perkasa, whether it's Hindraf, whether it's any other group that has very narrow communal sectarian interests as their prime motivating factor, are contained in a very small corner.